986 RACE. MB2 Raceway, where racers race.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I understand during that last break we had some technical issues and things may have cut out a little bit. I do want to remind our listeners that I believe our Facebook Live feed was fine, and so I know a lot of you were interested in that conversation that we were having with Annie the last couple of breaks, and so you can always pick us up, listen to the podcast of the show, head to hometownstation.com, and you can download and listen to the podcast. It'll be up there in probably another day or two.
They're always updated. You know, they're always there, whatever our shows are. So if we have an important update from the mayor, an update from Congressman Mike Garcia, they're available on Hometown Station, so definitely check those out.
Fantastic. Alrighty, we are joined now by Christina DeBray. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist with a remarkable story of resilience and determination. She's a trauma and resilience specialist, which is such an important resource during and after these times. Christina is a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University who practices here in Valencia. She's studied extensively things like trauma, phobias, performance enhancement, attachment disorders, suicide prevention, grief, and child and adolescent interventions. Christina has more than 18 years of speaking experience and works with medical professionals, organizers, patients, schools, parents, and business professionals. Good morning, Christina. Welcome back in.
Good morning.
It is always good to talk to you. Christina, you talked a little bit with us on Monday about grief as opposed to trauma. And, you know, as we've been having this conversation about grief, I realized how often we use the word, but how little we understand it. You defined grief for us on Monday as our reaction to loss, which was so helpful to me personally. So can you talk to us about the symptoms of grief now? What are the symptoms of grief? Is there a way for us to identify grief in ourselves, in our kids, our loved ones?
Yeah, of course. So in the late 60s, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had published a book on death and dying, and this was the introduction of the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Uh-huh. And since then, what we've realized is that, you know, grief doesn't necessarily happen in stages. It can happen in cycles. And what's nowadays what's helpful, and this is when I'm working with people in my practice, is to focus more on the symptoms of grief and how it's manifesting in a person's life and how it's impacting them. So first I want to start with what some of the feelings might be. So there can be anger, anxiety, feeling betrayed, feeling disbelief, feeling empty, fear, guilt, helplessness, feeling isolated, lonely, numb, powerless. Sometimes people can feel relief, sadness, shame, shock, uncertainty, weakness, and that is one category of symptoms is the emotions. Then people can have more mental health issues related to that. For example, difficulties in concentrating, perseverating on that loss of just sort of like a broken record. It's going on over and over again in your head. You're ruminating about it. Difficulty making decisions, low self-esteem, believing you were responsible or that there was something that you could do. Lots of dreams, intense dreams, nightmares, feeling like you're like this is not real or this is a dream. Sometimes people have self-destructive thoughts. Sometimes people can even have thoughts of wanting to die, but for the sake of wanting to join that person that has passed. Now, that's for that type of grief. Not, like I said on Monday, not grief can be about anything. It doesn't just have to be about the death of someone.
Okay. And I'm assuming, Christina, that were there more symptoms?
Yes.
Oh, please.
I mean, go ahead.
No. I wanted to ask when you're done, what other symptoms of grief are there?
So people can have physical symptoms. You can feel tired. You can feel weak. You can have tension. You can have pain in your heart. This can impact your spiritual life, sort of feeling confused, questioning, feeling like maybe God is punishing you, feeling angry with God, and these are very normal experiences. And so oftentimes people cope with sometimes trying to just say, so busy, so they don't have to think about it, trying to overachieve. Sometimes people try to underachieve. People can have a change in work performance. They can be forgetful. They can be preoccupied. They can seem more clumsy. They can cry a lot. They might start blaming others a lot, like displacing their anger elsewhere, not caring about things, wanting to be alone and isolate, and pulling away from other people when they're attempting to connect.
Okay, so I'm assuming that these are all possible symptoms, and we obviously won't experience all of them, correct?
Correct. These are just, some of the ways that grief manifests. And so really it's, the human condition, grief is part of the human condition, just like trauma is part of the human condition. We all experience grief. We all experience trauma. And throughout lots of different ways. Sometimes even something positive can be grief. Maybe if you're getting married, you have to grieve now the loss of your single life.
Yeah.
Or if you have a child, have to grieve the loss of the no kid life. So it can often be complex. It can be even with positive things. And so we usually think of grief with negative things like the loss of a loved one. And so, sometimes there's complicated feelings where, hey, someone was having a really, brutal battle with cancer and they were on life support or however it was, and it was going on for a long time. And then when that person passes, sometimes we can have that relief that they're not in pain anymore, but then sort of feel guilty for having that relief because they've passed.
Yeah, it is really complex. And then, of course, these symptoms can also be symptoms of something else, right? So it can be tough to tell, am I dealing more with grief? Am I dealing with depression? Am I dealing with this or that? Christina, do you know of anyone that could help us work through our grief and other traumas?
Well, I am one of the people that can help with that.
So how can our listeners get in contact with you, Christina?
Yes, so just give me a call on my office phone at 661-513-4857. Again, that's 661-513-4857. And I give everyone a free phone consultation. And then we kind of go from there to see if I would be a fit for your needs, or if not, I'll refer you elsewhere. Fantastic.
And you can also contact Christina at her website, ChristinaDebree.com. That is Christina with a K, and the last name is spelled Debree, ChristinaDebree.com. We're posting that on our Facebook Live feed as well for you to connect with Christina. She's got so much to offer. Christina, thank you so much for your help. We look forward to talking to you again tomorrow, and we're actually going to be talking with you twice tomorrow. I'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show, but you and I are going to be having a special tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. called Finding Closure, addressing specifically the trauma that took place at Saugus High School earlier in this school year. We're going to be talking about ways that families can help their children find some closure and help them move forward with their lives after this incredibly difficult school year. It is time for us to check in with local and national news stories and the latest updates right now. But do stick around. When we come back, we're going to be joined in studio by a parent who has an incredibly moving story. You're not going to want to miss this one. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers, with your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Introducing Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's second luxury senior living community in Santa Clarita. At Oakmont of Valencia, you'll have access to full-time assisted living services provided by compassionate staff in the privacy of your own home. Oakmont's Diabetic Wellness Program offers assistance with monitoring and managing glucose levels, meals, exercise, and activities. Oakmont of Valencia offers a fully equipped wellness center and concierge medical program, allowing outside physicians to visit on site. Discover the care your loved ones deserve in a resort-style setting. Visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
Consumers Furniture is back open for your business. The safety of our community and our staff, above all, is most important to us. We will provide a safe and clean environment for you to find the perfect piece of furniture for your home. To help you with your purchase, we are offering 25% off your entire order or 24 months same as cash financing. And for our awesome essential workers, we will deliver locally your furniture free of charge. Consumers Furniture is located in the Centerpoint Shopping Center below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Yes, Dunkin' is open. The continued stay-at-home orders have been rough on all of us, but Dunkin' is trying to make things just a little bit better. There are many ways to get your Dunkin' fix. You can carry out at both locations, or you can drive through at Canyon Country, or get curbside service at the Bouquet Canyon Dunkin'. Both offer Grubhub and Postmates delivery and are open till 6 p.m. Don't forget, use your Dunkin' app for on the go to order, pay, and accumulate points. Dunkin' cares about the SCV.
Doesn't it seem like it's been forever since we sat down in a restaurant and enjoyed a meal with our friends and our family? As the clock counts down to the expiration date of the current stay-at-home order, many of our local businesses are working hard getting ready to reopen, and that includes restaurants. Ultimately, it's up to our local health officials and our local restaurants to come up with safety plans moving forward, but we can help too. Plan on no more than an hour of dining out. If we don't linger, it allows more turnover for the restaurant, which in turn provides more business for them and more tips for servers who are out on the front line. It's a win-win. Together, we can create a new normal for Santa Clarita that's safe and enjoyable.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Can they agree to find common ground? Analisa Brady, Fox News. Another police reform bill unveiled, this time in the U.S. Senate, where Republicans are urging Democrats to use it as a starting point for negotiations.
South Carolina Republican Tim Scott is leading the Justice Act, a police reform bill that incentivizes chokehold bans and sets up de-escalation training and a duty to intervene policies.
We make it about families who've lost loved ones, about restoring trust, about respecting officers.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says the proposal fails to meet the moment by not including any new limits on qualified immunity that shield police officers from lawsuits.
It's missing real, meaningful accountability for individual officers' misconduct.
It will take a bipartisan 60-vote threshold to begin debate. So far, Democrats have not indicated whether they will block the measure next week.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. A House vote also expected next week on the plan Democrats unveiled last week. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signing an order to make Juneteenth a paid holiday for state workers. A growing number of states and cities moving to formally recognize June 19th, which marks the end of slavery in the U.S. as part of the reform movement around the country. Governor Cuomo also announcing he'll stop the daily coronavirus briefings he's been doing for months after this Friday. The White House insists that a court fight over John Bolton's new book isn't over unflattering information, as the publisher claims, but about classified information. Senior counselor Kellyanne Conway.
For me, it's not about quote protecting the president, as the critics and naysayers do from their the gargoyles on Twitter all the time. It's really about protecting the nation.
The former National Security Advisor insists he followed protocol and worked with the National Security Council, but the Justice Department filed a lawsuit. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm giving Jeb's basement renovations 1 star. He kept asking me what's behind the walls down there. I'm like, why? What do you know?
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
And then he's like, you can trust me with the job. And I'm all like, trust?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Yeah, he charged me less than he said he would, which is lying.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Hey, if you're looking to cut costs and free up some cash on a monthly basis, start today with Pure Talk USA. Now, the average family of 4 is saving over $800 a year on cell phone service by switching to Pure Talk USA. Now, every plan includes unlimited talk and
unanchored web stream shortly on your unanchored channel, a feed out of the White House for the press briefing with Kayleigh McEnany, and on your unanchored web stream shortly, a feed out of Capitol Hill where House Democrats will react to the Senate Republican police reform bill. That is coming up on your unanchored channel and your unanchored web streams shortly. Fox News Radio New York.
U.S. criticism of China's handling of the initial outbreak. The U.S. Trade Representative is telling Congress that China has repeatedly said it remains committed to the Phase 1 trade deal signed in January, and that so far, about $10 billion in purchases have been made. Among other things, the deal calls for China to buy more U.S. goods and services. Meantime, another warning and restrictions in China's capital as a new outbreak grows.
China closing Beijing's schools, blocking off some neighborhoods, and cancelling flights to limit travel in and out of the city as authorities race to contain a new coronavirus outbreak. China reporting 137 new infections in Beijing over the past 6 days, with the outbreak centred on a food market. Officials acknowledging a grave risk of a second wave of infections, but saying they're hopeful the outbreak can be contained. Simon Owen, Fox News.
In Germany, over 600 cases of coronavirus now confirmed at a meatpacking plant. The World Health Organization just announcing that hydroxychloroquine will no longer be part of a multi-country trial of potential COVID-19 treatments after results from other trials showed no benefits. The big screen may be set for a grand reopening.
Americans could be back in movie theaters very soon. Regal Entertainment now says it will reopen some theaters at the end of this month. Parent company Cineworld has plans to reopen all 787 of its theaters by July 10th. It's restricting the number of people allowed in theaters, and it's taking other precautions. Its competitor AMC is also planning to reopen all of its 1,000 movie theaters in July. AMC has been struggling and has been attempting to avoid filing for bankruptcy reorganization. Ginny Cosola, Fox News.
Meantime, drive-in theaters have had such a resurgence during the pandemic that more are being set up. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
If you're tired of your nail polish chipping a day or two after an expensive manicure, then you'll love the gel nail polish manicure now offered by Ann. Ann is a licensed manicurist serving the Santa Clarita Valley in Canyon Country for over 15 years. And now she's offering the gel manicure that lasts without chipping for up to 2 weeks. Log on to hometownstation.com for details on how to get an amazing deal on gel nails by Ann on Restaurant Row, or call Ann at 250-8340.
At iLEAD Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLEAD Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLEADAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Facey knows life gets busy. Let us go to work for you in the Santa Clarita Valley. We have 34 primary care physicians and 55 specialty doctors in 4 offices. And Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and PEDS with some extended hour appointments available. We are Facey Medical Group. Let us go to work for you today. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
Batten Plumbing, it's Eric.
It's Mother. Can you come over right away? It's urgent.
I'll be right there, Mom. Okay, I'm here. What's wrong?
It's been weeks since you had a haircut, so I want to give you a nice trim. Sit down.
Ooh, ow.
Gee, I can see myself in the back of your head, son.
Mom.
Oops.
What happened?
Never mind. It'll grow back. So, what's new at Dutton Plumbing, son?
Well, with so many people stuck at home, there's a lot of stuff getting stuck in their pipes. So, our $73 drain querying is really keeping us busy.
Wait a minute. I bet the plumber's hair is getting shaggy, too. You tell them that Mom will cut their hair for just $73.
Isn't that a little high for a haircut, Mom?
Well, I'll toss in the manscaping for free.
Mom! DuttonPlumbing.com.
Mom's $73 drain clearing at DuttonPlumbing.com. Manscaping not included. Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Mostly sunny skies this week with highs in the low 80s and overnight lows in the 60s. For anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com or check us out on Facebook at KHTS Radio.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson. I am your host. You are listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. You know, when a child is born, every parent dreams of what the future will bring. Milestones and memories, hopes and heartaches, achievements, accomplishments, celebrations and successes. And that's the way it began for my next guest, at least for the first 4 years. I'm joined in studio now by Terry Fox. Terry is the mother of Sebastian Valona. Sebastian is 17 years old?
He's 17.
Okay, almost 17. You're 16. Sebastian is here in the studio as well. If you're watching on Facebook Live, he is just off camera, but glad to have both of you here. Sebastian suffers from Batten disease, and we're going to be talking about what that is and what that means for Sebastian and his family. It's an incredible story. Terry, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Matt, thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Need you to come real close to the microphone. There we go. So we're really glad that you're able to join us today.
Thank you very much for having us, and Sebastian's very excited to be here and a superstar.
He is. So first of all, I think you and your family call him Sebi. Is that right? Is that what he prefers?
Mm-hmm. It's Sebi.
Okay, then we will go with that. So is there anything that I missed? I give you a very short introduction. Is there anything that we should know about your family before we get started talking specifically about Sebi's journey?
No, I think we can go through, what your questions are very precise, and I want to get direct to the point so people understand what Batten disease is. So if you want to go into
let's start there. Tell us a little bit about what it is. It's something that I'm guessing that most of our listeners don't know much about. So what is Batten disease?
Well, it sucks. That's what Batten disease is.
Okay.
It's a very fatal It's a very fatal disease, and it's inherited by both parents. It's a mutant gene that obviously we don't have DNA testing done before you have a baby, which I highly suggest people doing these days.
Okay.
Anyway, so he got the recessive gene from Dad and I, and he was born normal, beautiful child, great, hyper, just an awesome boy. At 4 years and 3 months old, he had his first seizure. We're on a trip in Maui, and we've been in the pool on water slides all day and jacuzzi, so I thought we cooked him in the jacuzzi or something. He collapsed. We didn't know what was wrong. He was turning blue. We thought he was dying. It was horrible. Long story short, because we're in Maui, a desolate island, it took the ambulance quite a bit of time, which you think 10 minutes isn't very long. 10 minutes is forever in a seizure.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on, and he collapsed in the hallway, and he was shaking and turning blue, and again, we thought he was dying. The ambulance got there. It's a very long ride.
I'm still alive.
Yeah. We're very happy you're alive. And anyway, so they had diagnosed him that he had a seizure. And they were hoping his temperature was slightly elevated, so they thought it was just a febrile seizure. Send us back to the hotel the next morning and go about our trip. We called a doctor back at home. They said, do not put him on a plane, just stay the rest of the week there. So he flew back home about a week later, and he saw a neurologist and said, we'll just wait to see if he has another seizure. Don't want to do medication.
Sure.
6 months later, he had a second seizure.
Okay.
That really sucked.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
Here's my baby, 4.5 years old, and I thought it was a febrile seizure. He's going to be fine. So the doctor put him in the hospital, and they did electrodes on him, MRIs, and a slew of tests, and deemed him epileptic, and started on medication and sent us home. Nothing we could do. So fast forward a few years go by, and the seizures, we're trying a bunch of different medications that were horrific. Some made him aggressive, punch holes in the walls, which is not normal for him.
Okay.
Then we got him off that one. We tried another one. One of the medications gave him 10 seizures in a day.
Wow.
Luckily, it's never happened again. We got him off that medication.
Yeah.
But during the process, they have to wean him off the medication, and then it takes quite a bit of time. So it's a lot of trial and error during that, until we finally found a cocktail of medications that actually worked very well for him. He still has seizures, but minimally. He used to have them like every 4 days, and now he'll have them maybe once a month. Sometimes he'll go several months without one. But then at 6 years old, his teacher talked to us and said, we're trying to teach him to read. He was doing fine, but we think something's wrong. So long story short.
So even up until it had been about a year and a half now, things were still progressing fine. You thought that he had epilepsy.
He had seizures. And
Okay.
you know what? Kids have it worse out in the world.
Still,
fine.
each seizure has a chance of being fatal, so very, very scary. But still, your son's growing, he's learning, progressing at a normal rate.
And in
Okay.
between, when he does have a seizure, he likes to hit his head on the sidewalk. It's always a hard spot, or the countertop at the end of a bedside table, and he'll crack his head open, and here comes the ambulance.
Oh man.
So about 12 to 15 ambulances rides that we've had. He's gone to the ER. He got helivaced off of our street once because he cut his head too bad, and they thought he might have internally brain bleeding.
Sure.
Luckily, by the time we got to UCLA's neurologist met us on the roof where the helicopter landed, and he was fine. They stitched him up, stapled him up, and sent him home. But, in between this time, his vision started getting bad.
Okay, and so that's when he was in first grade, I think you said? He was learning to read, and his vision started going.
And all of a sudden, like overnight, the vision just started failing. And so for about a year, we're going to probably 3 or 4 different eye doctors, thinking they're all wrong, not giving them the right prescription, not giving them the right sunglasses or prescription sunglasses, because down in the bright light, it was bothering his eyes. So we had to get prescription work changed inside and outside, because all of a sudden the light started bothering him outside.
Okay.
And I said, something's wrong. His eyes don't look the same. He had bright blue, beautiful eyes, and now they look almost clear, like you could see through them. It just looked different.
Right.
And so we had him tested down at Jules Stein at UCLA. Long story short, they diagnosed him with retinitis pigmentosa. So he's going blind.
Okay. So, which is an eye disease. So now they're telling you, yes, he's battling with epilepsy, and now he's got an unrelated issue with his eyes that's causing him to go blind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, mind you, this is 8 years ago, where now DNA testing are pretty simple to go through your insurance and get. Not simple, but a lot better than what we did.
Sure.
It cost almost $10,000 fighting with the insurance company for a good year, and I have very good insurance, doesn't matter. It was just uncommon then. So we had a slew of DNA tests done on him, a full DNA panel, which is very new to them at the time, and it took about 4 months, and it came back that he had Batten's disease. So we sat in a boardroom with a team of doctors in genetic counseling at UCLA, a group of the best doctors that I know of and neurologists, and gave us the fatal news. Okay. So probably the hardest thing we've ever heard. And not only, it's not like your son died in a horrific accident, it's just overnight. It's like your son's going to deteriorate. So Batten disease, he has CLN8. There's 14 variants of Batten disease, so people get confused.
Okay.
CLN8 is the proteins build up in every single cell of his body, and they can't get rid of the waste within the cells. So the cells basically burst and die off. And so when they're born normal, he's just, normal. He's building all these cells. Well, as his disease starts kicking in at 5 years old, typical for Batten CLN8 child, the cells will slowly die off. So you lose motor skills, speaking, speech, mobility, everything. The best way to describe it is like juvenile ALS.
Okay.
So it's progressive disease until they can't walk anymore, they can't speak. The seizures get worse as they get older. He's almost blind, but he can still see a little bit. He could wake up tomorrow and that's it, he can't see anymore. We don't know. And then it goes to where he can't walk, he's in a wheelchair, and then a feeding tube, and he would die. Okay. And there's no fighting this disease. There's no, I hope my kid doesn't die from it. This is just, the path of the disease. We're lucky enough to meet a family, the Grays, who have 2 daughters. He's a famous producer. They got a group of scientists together and developed a gene therapy. So I kicked and screamed and kicked down their door until they would have lunch with me.
Okay.
And, I'm no one. And I didn't think they were going to give me the time or day to talk to them. They're so loving and welcoming. And we had lunch with my neurologist. I dragged Sebastian there because I'm putting my kid right in front of their face and be like, you cannot say no. I need help. My son is dying. And if you got gene therapy for your daughters, I need this for my son. And they have Batten disease CLN6, which is very different. So it's going to be a different gene and a different gene therapy, but still in the Batten family. So it's doable.
Okay.
So we worked with, long story short again, Nationwide's Children's Hospital is our godsend. And Catherine Meyer runs the lab there. It's her lab. She actually duplicated my son's gene in a petri dish.
Okay.
And is creating a gene therapy. And this was about 3.5 years ago, which is amazing. The most wonderful thing is that they can make a gene therapy for them. It would take a few years, but to do so, we have to foot the bill. Scientists can't just pay for it. The hospital doesn't have the kind of funding for it or the government funding yet, and we hope to change that. Okay. And if you're listening out there, we need your help and your fight for that to get that change. But we had to raise $3.5 million.
Okay, so, and that's something that, as I was reading about your story, I was a little bit confused about. You had to raise $3.5 million. That's not specifically for Sebi's treatment. That's for all the research and everything that goes behind
everything.
This therapy that will then help your son as well as generations to come.
Many generations to come. It could end up thousands, countless people. Anyone diagnosed, not just with Batten disease CLN8, any Batten disease, any rare disease that has a single gene mutation. The problem is if let's say your child is sick, but they have 2 mutations of a gene, as of right now, they can't help that with the gene therapy. It's got to be the single gene, because the gene therapy is actually getting injected into your spine like an epidural and going straight to the brain. And they use the AAV9 virus So what does a virus do when you shoot it into the spine? It goes to the brain. It spreads like a virus.
Okay.
And so it's spreading that good gene and replacing the bad gene with the good gene. That's it. That's how simple it is. $3.5 million later. A lot of research, a lot of, mice studies, mouse studies, safety efficacy studies, FDA approval throughout this whole process. They're making a path, and I've been in every board meeting, watching every single aspect of every penny that we raise, what it goes to the research, and nothing is going into someone's pocket. That's what I love about this. I get to oversee everything.
Wow.
From start to finish. Now, the beautiful thing is, again, I will praise Kat all day long. She's our champion for Sebastian. She runs her lab there. She's fighting very, very, very hard for him. And then also Jill Weimner that runs Sanford Research also is the other company that puts together all the safety efficacy studies and actually will put in the CLN8 diseased mice to see how it reacts to the gene therapy on them before they can put into human. And they can't do anything medically without doing that.
Sure.
And it's a huge, long, very costly process. And just the mice studies are a 2-year span. And we just completed that. FDA gave us an A+, which is amazing. So our groundwork, our footwork, we're working very, very hard is paying off. Unfortunately, 20 months ago, we thought it was the best thing that ever happened to us, was Amicus Therapeutics came in and purchased us.
Okay.
All the Batten disease programs, Pompeii disease, and a few other rare diseases. And I don't want to be wrong on that, but they bought a slew of them. For $150 million. So they're going to be our white knight, our white horse. Now we don't have to fundraise anymore. We just, our foundation alone, the Sebastian Vallona Foundation, with another few patients like Sebi that has Batten disease CLN8, raised money too and put towards our foundation to pay for all the research to get us to gene therapy. We raised about $1 million. So September of 2018, Amicus Therapeutics came in and purchased us.
And I want to get into that. I just kind of want to reset because you're talking about a 10, 12-year journey right now, and I want to make sure that our listeners completely understand what's going on, because I know as a parent I'm thinking, well, why doesn't your insurance cover this?
Right.
What you're looking to fund isn't specific treatment for your son. It's the treatment that will help your son.
It's being pioneered. It's not even made yet. Insurance isn't even there to cover it. In Sebi's lifetime right now, before gene therapy, I don't even think insurance would come into play.
Sure, because again, it's not for an individual treatment. You're looking to fund a cure or a strong treatment for this disease.
Think if someone had breast cancer, unfortunately. So many people have it. I can be diagnosed with it tomorrow. There's a treatment, there's a fund. Insurance covers quite a bit of treatments, however that works. Gene therapy for Batten disease doesn't even exist. It's not even quite on the map yet. We're mapping that. We're the pioneers making this happen. The Grays did it for CLN6, but CLN8 is a whole different gene. So we're making this, so once Sebi and the few kids are treated and the virus can, treat up to so many, they can make more virus as more are diagnosed and help more and more and more. And then the cost significantly goes down because we've already paid all that cost for developing the gene therapy. Now it's there, they just make more virus.
Okay. So you're out there, again, fighting for your son, but then also being that champion for countless other parents. Do you know how many children are affected by Batten or CLN8?
Well, we think because Batten disease is so rare and they didn't have DNA testing done back then, we think it was misdiagnosed many years ago. So I think a lot of people died from MS or ALS. Okay. Assuming it was like ALS, but not quite, but it ended up being Batten's. Batten's usually start in children, depending which variant you have, young into children, and they don't live usually into adulthood. Sebi is one of the luckier ones that with CLN8 can live maybe into his 20s or later. We don't know the quality of life he has, but he's better off. Some die by their 12 years old, very, very young, again, depending on what variant. So now that they're testing all these, we know of at least 14,000. It is extremely rare.
Okay.
It's a rare disease, but this is just one rare disease. There's thousands of rare diseases out there.
And we're still learning about this. And now we do need to take a quick commercial break, but before we go, you said that you need our listeners' help. How can they get involved? How can they donate?
Well, we need your help now because of all the acquisitions who purchase us. They can't get us to gene therapy quick enough, and they've delayed our program. So now it's going back to Children's Nationwide, which is a good thing, but the bad thing is now we're not covered anymore. So now we need to go back and raise about another $1 million.
Okay, so is there a website that our listeners can go to while we go to commercial break?
Yes, our website is Batten, Batten, CLN8.org.
Okay, curebattencln8.org. I'm going to post that in the Facebook Live feed while we go to commercial.
And we need your help like yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
We're
definitely.
Desperately doing it, and Nationwide will get us our home run into gene therapy, but now we just need to come up with the funds.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that part of the journey as well. We're talking to Terry Fox and about her family's harrowing journey with her oldest son's diagnosis with Batten disease. Again, we've got to take that quick commercial break, but we're going to continue the conversation after this, including what they're doing and how you can continue to help. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
This is Bradley Gross from Santa Clarita Grocery. Santa Clarita Grocery serves fresh groceries to families, individuals, and those experiencing homelessness. At Santa Clarita Grocery, out of every dollar donated, a full 99 cents goes directly to the needs being addressed. As an all-volunteer-led organization, we operate on a 1% overhead, receiving no government funding for our operations in the community, resulting in us being one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. If you're looking to support the good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery. What is donated is specifically kept in the Santa Clarita Valley, helping over 3,000 families, including 5 other community charities. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or visit us on social media or call us at 425-7575. That's 425-7575.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Introducing the new Impossible Crust Sandwich.
This is plants? This is so good. I can't believe it.
This definitely tastes just as good as sausage.
I think it might taste better than sausage.
Get the Impossible Crust Sandwich when you order on the BK app. You can also get free delivery, only at Burger King.
Finding the right auto body shop can feel like a never-ending search.
It's more than a job, it's a hobby.
Caesar, owner of Body Shop 661, your one-stop body shop.
Out here in Santa Clarita, I like seeing my cars driving around. It's really a passion.
More than just repairs. Body Shop 661. Trusted, reliable, respected for over 16 years in the Santa Clarita Valley. Visit bodyshop661.com or give them a call, 661-251-2252.
Find
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker has been ranked the 15th most influential person in the entire Santa Clarita Valley in 2010 by the Santa Clarita Valley Business Journal. When everything is on the line, call the Hacker Law Group.
This is a Rita's Daybreak. There's a huge crowd at Rita's. With so many amazing flavors, every day's a treat. Let's see what folks are celebrating.
I lost my first tooth. No more training wheels. My dog photo got 37 likes.
3 kids, 3 activities, 0 meltdowns. There you have it. Layer it, blend it, or drink it with Italian ice and creamy custard. So many reasons to celebrate at Rita's. This has been a Rita's Daybreak.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. We're joined in studio by Terry Fox. Terry's son, Sebi, was diagnosed with Batten disease when he was just 4 years old. And we were talking about before the break, Terry, the struggles with even getting a proper diagnosis. Scientists are still learning about Batten, learning more every day, and you have been obviously the champion for your son, but the champion for everyone that would come after your son to get treatment researched and funded. This isn't just we know what it takes to treat your son and now you just have to pay for it. It's a matter of doing all the research and everything that's involved. Sebi's in the studio with us as well. I know he's off camera. He's welcome to join you if he'd like to.
You want to come over here and wave to the camera? Come here, handsome. Sebi, come on.
Or he can stay over there as well, wherever he's most comfortable. Now,
you touched on a good point. So if you want me to explain that a little bit better so the listeners understand, this isn't treatment just for Sebi. I want to do a shout out to Brock Scarpetta. They live in a very, very small town in Illinois. And Brock has CLN8 too, and he's much younger than Sebastian. And he's actually worse off than Sebi.
Oh, gosh.
Sebi has a split gene, so sometimes it can hit a child harder. And he's already in a wheelchair and is, walking on his own very, very well. So we do some therapies to help strengthen the legs so they don't lose the ability to walk. We're trying to keep them really strong. So we're literally pulling therapies out of the roof, pretty much. Just trying all different things, just trying to get them strong till gene therapy so they don't lose that ability. Because gene therapy, by the way, will stop the progression of the disease. It won't reverse the damage though. If it does, it's very minuscule. It's still very new, so we don't know how much damage would be reversed since its first gene therapy is only about 2.5 years out. They're still just finishing up their clinical trial because clinical trials run about 2 years after treatment. But we're also funding huge drug therapies, which is very expensive with Sanford Research. And they're researching a lot of drugs that are already FDA approved and already working for Alzheimer's, for dementia, for ALS, for all different sorts of diseases, trying to test them on Batten disease and other rare diseases to see if we can find a drug that might reverse some eyesight damage, maybe some motor skills, maybe find a cocktail of drugs that might be able to get them to walk better, get out of a wheelchair and be able to walk again, strengthen, their body and their joints that deteriorated. So we are hitting it from every angle that we possibly can. But again, it's very expensive. But again, this isn't just for Sebi or Brock and the kids with CLN8. We are going after all the rare diseases, and Batten disease included. Anything that we could do with a single gene until they come up with, multiple genes, children that are sick with multiple issues, to eradicate those rare diseases, because we can. It doesn't go through major pharmaceutical companies per se. It's people like us fundraising and paying scientists that aren't just paid from the government. We have to fund all this research. We have to make the map. And we just had our scientists actually submit to FDA our mapping for the CLN8 gene therapy, and it was A+ work. So it's really, really, really good news for us. And now our next step, which is very costly, is making the vector virus to deliver the gene.
Okay.
So we have the plasmids made, which is very expensive. And that was about $540,000 just to make plasmids, to give you an idea.
Okay, and so that's the substance that would be injected, and then you said the virus is kind of the vehicle.
Yep, and the vehicle, which they use right now, they use the AAV9 virus. It's a non-human virus, but actually, like if you cough on me, I don't have AAV9, it's a non-human virus. What it'll do is attach to the spores of that cough and go into the human, like what we're dealing with COVID right now.
Okay.
Goes in the human, all of a sudden they develop all these antibodies for the AAV9 virus. Now normally you'd never know, you wouldn't care, not a big deal. To have gene therapy, you need to go get an antibody test to see if you have high antibodies for the AAV9. So I'm thinking, well, it's a non-human virus. Sebastian 8 years ago was very young. He's going to be out fine. No, he tested extremely high positive antibodies. So not only with the gene therapy, when that comes to play, when he gets treatment, a few weeks prior, they have to give him some treatment to get rid of the antibodies out of his system.
Almost
so pretty much compromise his immune system,
Yeah.
which is fine, but his risks are pretty much death or this. So the risk is, for the reward, is totally worth it. It's very low risk. We put him in the hospital just a few days before to make sure he's in a clean environment. And then once they inject him, after 48 hours, the gene therapy takes over, and they don't care if the antibodies rise again after. It wouldn't hurt him after that.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
good to hear.
good. So there's promise. So Sebastian is the first one, because they always said gene therapy, if you test highly positive for the antibodies, and the higher it is, the worse it is, because it's going to attack the virus. It's not going to allow the gene.
It's going to attack what you're injecting to help
gene therapy
treat him. Yeah.
$3.5 million later, and it's going to kill it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we got to get rid of those. So pretty much, for a 2-year-old to understand, you just get rid of the antibodies and you can inject them and it's fine.
Okay. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this as well. So other than Batten disease, Sebi is a remarkably strong and healthy young man, which in the case of this, he's flexing over there. Yeah, check it out. Show me. Sebi's taking me to the gun show. I love it.
He's a tough guy.
So, but when it comes to this treatment, that's actually a deficit. So you've got to lower his immunity while he's in the hospital, give him the treatment. Good news is then you can kind of take your grip off of the antibodies, and then he can build his immunity back up as these. This virus, I guess, spreads around and helps his genes recover.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before you've had an interesting journey with these pharmaceutical companies as you're working to develop this treatment. Can you talk a little bit about what's been going on with the pharmaceutical companies?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's also confusing to be. I'm a very honest person, so through this journey, I thought we had to raise $3.5 million. My son's in treatment, and we go about our life, and he'll live. And
boom, $3.5 million, it's as easy as that, right?
Yeah, well, no, raising that is extremely hard. We need the public help. I contributed, as much as we can per month that we can. Obviously, the money needs to come from us first, so we put that in every month. It goes fast. We, help all the other Batten families and give them a slew of information and their map to get into a gene therapy program that has a different variant than Sebastian's.
Okay.
So, we don't just leave anyone in the dark or behind. We're out to help anyone and everyone that we possibly can. And so when we started raising the funds, we had Nationwide Children's Hospital, as I said, and Sanford Research developing our gene therapy. When Amicus Therapeutics came into play, Nationwide Children's had sold their gene therapy program. They split off to a company called Selenex.
Okay.
And so Selenex was running that for a while, and it didn't really bother us. We're just still
So
raising
one company
money.
kind of morphed into another, but your
Right.
treatment and research continued forward.
Well, it continued. It
Okay.
didn't get delayed, which is wonderful. But then Selenex sold it to Amicus. Amicus
They sold the actual research treatment process to
all the licensing agreements.
Okay.
Which is fine. Unfortunately, it did kind of take the power away from us, but the great thing is we raised $1 million. We
Okay.
really put a stamp on there.
Mhm.
They're not going to kick us out. We got this. We're going to get gene therapy. Amos is going to be our white knight, and the white horse that comes in and saves us. We stopped funding that day. It was awesome. It was just like sweat off of your forehead, just like, whew, It's, raising money in this day and age is very hard. There's a lot of great charities out there.
And so they took it over for you.
They took it over. But now, because they're more of a commercial company, it's very hard to go through FDA as fast.
Oh.
So not even to get into that, very hard, it's very difficult. There's a lot of delays, and unfortunately, it wouldn't come in Sebby's time. He would be too far gone to get treatment, and Brock and the other kids. And I already promised these kids we're going to get them to treatment. So it's a lot of pressure on me because, I can't let these kids die. I can't let my son die.
Yeah.
Because they delayed us. So they released us, and now we're back at Children's Nationwide, where we should be, which is amazing. It's great news because they're the ones that pioneered the gene therapy, and so now we're back at Children's. The unfortunate thing is they don't fund it.
Okay, so what do you mean by they released you? The process slowed down way too much with this more corporate pharmaceutical company.
Amicus Therapeutics released us and sent us back to Nationwide.
Okay, so they basically said, we can't get it fast enough, so you're going to go back to Nationwide.
Which is a good thing, so at least we can start working Nationwide to get it hurried up and, get it as fastest route possible.
Because you're definitely up against a time crunch.
Yeah, so now we're looking at a human trial, not a full-blown clinical trial, to get us to treatment quicker, faster, and save these kids' lives. That is the number one concern. I'm not concerned about anyone out there making money commercially. Let's get these kids treated, develop that drug so we can help all the other ones before they get too bad. And because there's a point where the kids are too bad off and you just don't want to treat them after that, the quality of life.
Sure.
What parent can you look in the eye and me look at my son and say, I'm not going to treat him, he's gotten too bad. So we're in a hurry.
Yeah.
We don't have time on our side. We have within the year, which is doable. We can do it. We just have to raise the money. It stinks, but that's our situation. And we need everyone's help to just understand these 6 kids deserve life. And we have it. We have it. We just need to raise the rest of the money to get us there. And then once we have that, they can make more viruses, start helping the other kids, and develop the other gene therapies with the other Batten diseases, which is amazing. And it's a far reach, but again, Batten disease kids don't have time.
Okay, so.
Yes, sweetheart, come here.
Okay. Sebby's in here in the studio with us as well and chatting with us. So what obstacles... Oh, he's looking for the restroom? Okay, Shane, is there somebody that maybe can... Okay, you know what? Let's take a quick commercial break. I think it's good. We'll call it a bio break. And we'll come back and we'll continue to talk. We'll get you what you need, Sebby. We're talking with Terry Fox and her son Sebastian about their ordeal with Batten disease. This is something that we're up against a deadline, folks, and we definitely need your help. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers with Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
The minute I open my door,
Debbie Morris has a problem.
I say, oh my gosh.
A really big problem.
The dog, the cat, my 3-year-old.
Debbie's house is a mess.
How can one family create this disaster?
Debbie needs Made for You.
I need help.
Professional, residential, and commercial cleaning, locally owned. You choose the schedule, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning. Call 255-2922. That's 255-2922. Made for You.
Made for You rescued me.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day.
curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions, a little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVi, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLEAD's founding school, SCVi combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVi has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLEADSantaClarita.org. iLEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker has been ranked the 15th most influential person in the entire Santa Clarita Valley in 2010 by the Santa Clarita Valley Business Journal. When everything is on the line, call the Hacker Law Group.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank. And I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row, and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Your hometown station.
Our news team at KHTS is constantly working to keep you informed. If you want the latest and greatest information on the Santa Clarita Valley, just sign up for the KHTS newsletter. SCV News delivered directly to your email inbox every weekday by 5 p.m. and a special weekend edition on Sundays. All it takes is an email address and you're set. Go to hometownstation.com to register.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Hey, this is Ellen Kay, and I'm so excited. Exer More Than Urgent Care is now open in Canyon Country, right near Highway 14 and Soledad Canyon Road. Exer is the ER alternative that's built and staffed by ER doctors, and with on-site lab, x-ray, and pharmacy, Exer has more medical services than most urgent care. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Walk in and be seen in minutes. Visit exerurgentcare.com for more information. That's exerurgentcare.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers, brought to you by SCVi and iLEAD Charter Schools. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and we are in the studio with Terry Fox and her son, Sebi. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you see Sebi's here on camera now. Sebastian, we're very glad that you're able to join us as well. Sebi was diagnosed with Batten disease when he was 4 years old, and Terry, I agree with you wholeheartedly. When you look at a face like this, how could you not donate to help? A very handsome young man.
He's a beautiful kid.
Absolutely. We were talking before the break about your journey with the pharmaceutical companies, and so you're back with Children's now, and they're working with you to move things forward as quickly as possible. And you said, is it now just a funding issue? Is that the only obstacle that we're up against right now?
Of course, because respectfully, the hospital doesn't have the funding for this yet. We hope the government and funding, how it trickles down and works, will change that, and we'll get grants and funding from the government. Until we're on the map, we don't have that. We don't have the time to wait. So we're trying to actually make that happen, where government will start funding, programs like this, and that's where it won't be at cost to kids, hopefully in the very, very near future. But Children's Nationwide has just been amazing. They pioneered the gene therapy. They actually developed it. They treated the first kids with Batten disease there. I want to say it's been about 2.5, 3 years. They're still doing, just finishing up the clinical trial I'd said earlier, and they're doing very well. And gene therapy has shown to be very, very promising. They just treated kids at Nationwide December of 2019 with Batten disease CLN3.
All right.
And they're doing awesome. A friend of mine, Christian Luden, we've met through the Batten community. His son, August, they live in Sweden. I'm Swedish and Danish, so we have that in common. Right. I think that's probably part of our gene problem, the mutation in our gene. There's different variants where it came from. His dad is Italian, so Batten disease came from the Italian variant and more Finnish variant, which is mine, which I have Swedish and Danish. And so Christian's son, August, just got treated back in December and showed no progression of the disease whatsoever so far, which is huge. CLN3 will deteriorate a little bit quicker than others. Again, every child's different, but he's holding steady, which is really good. So now we're looking into drug funding, to find drugs to hopefully reverse that damage, and that they're also working with Sanford as well.
Okay, so you're attacking this from several different
every angle we possibly can, we will, and if we don't have the money to fund it, we try to find a way or find a path to how can we do this to develop this. And again, countless people will be saved after this is developed. Which is huge, but also it's a big burden on your shoulders when you think, I can't fail. Right. I can't fail my son. I can't fail the kids in our program right now. I can't fail the other people that are going to need treatment. The kids that aren't even born yet, or the ones that don't even know what they have yet and aren't diagnosed. We want to change that. So if your kid is sick or has something wrong, you might know, here's all the information. It might be Batten's disease. It might be, a friend that has this. It might be MS. It could be, whatever. There's so many rare diseases out there. And we want to change that because unlike big pharmaceutical companies that handle thousands of countless patients that with cancer and everything, drug funding, rare diseases don't get that. So it's harder because we're not funded and we're trying to change it, but also it's easier because we can find a treatment by going through scientists to pretty much make it up.
Okay.
And we're finding it very successful. And this gene therapy is shown to be very successful. So it does work.
Okay. And again, our listeners can help by heading over to that website that we posted not long ago. Again, it is curebatten8.org. Cure Batten, BATTENCLN8.org. Now, we have just about 1 minute, but I wanted to ask you something so inspiring on your website. Can you tell us about Healing Hugs?
Yes. Everyone thought when we had to start fundraising over 3 years ago, there was a great marketing campaign that I thought of myself. I did not. Sebastian, ever since, literally, who's 3 years old, swore before he was diagnosed, normal kid, cute, sweet boy, could heal people with his hugs, whether you had a scrape, you had someone die in the family, you had a boo-boo on your knee, whatever, he could hug you and heal with his hugs. He always thought that. And I thought, how appropriate. So 3 years ago when we had, and this is him. He will hug pretty much until he pops you. And he's not concerned about the virus right now, not hugging people, so we got to be careful with that. But his heart is so big. And we didn't know that at 3 years old, and now that's why he has Healing Hugs. This is him.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's like you said, we're not supposed to be hugging each other right now, but you can reach out and hug Sebi. You can hug kids like him that are struggling with that disease.
Especially now, I think everyone needs a healing hug. Whether it's wrong to say or not. I believe with the craziness with the world and everything and the scary and the uncertainty, everyone needs a healing hug.
Absolutely.
And I think that's beautiful that people know that and take that away.
And I would hope that people reach out to curebatten8.org and give Sebi and other kids like him that hug that they need. This is so incredible. Terry, I want to thank you for joining us today. Sebi, thanks for coming in the studio and joining us. We really appreciate you guys getting the word out, not only for yourselves, but countless others that suffer from Batten and other related diseases. We can't imagine what you're going through, but really appreciate your strength and your courage to fight this battle. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to thank our guests, Analisa Astorga, Christina DeBray, Terry, and Sebi coming in studio today. We appreciate it. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. and every Monday through Friday for another session of SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. This is your hometown station, KHTS.